that are doing outstanding work. From the women, elitist women, we have professors, from the music industry, from the writers, the journalists, and all of it. So, Madam Speaker, you and me, this is something that is not new to us. And at the end of this year, on the 5th and 6th of the December, we'll be having such a similar congregation in Busia County, where we will be celebrating women from our community, and we'll be doing the same honor that we are talking about here. Honorable Madam Speaker, as I rise here, I'm from Homa Bay County. We have been presenting our candidates on Kasipul by-election, Madam Speaker. And that is one candidate in the name of Boyd Were that should really go into this list of Hall of Fame. Madam Speaker, she is going to be an MP, and is going to be one of the youngest MPs Homa Bay County is going to give a Gen Z MPs. And I call upon all the young people and everybody else to prepare to support our candidate, Honorable Boyd Were. I say he's going to be part of this County Hall of Fame list because of his age. Madam Speaker, I support this bill because through this bill, we are going to preserve, and not only preserve, but protect our counties that have made outstanding and exceptional and or activity. Madam Speaker, we have a number of such people in our communities. And I want to say from the word go, Madam Speaker, that we must relook at the selection committee. I want to say that it should not be an elitist selection committee. It should not even be full of memory. They have an institutional memory of the people and the outstanding activities and the outstanding deeds that a number of people have done in the county. So, Madam Speaker, back in my constituency, we have outstanding people like Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia is my great-great-great-grandfather-in-law, Madam Speaker. So, that is why we even have him named after the famous Gor Mahia football team. But these are the kind of people that must go into this list. This was a paramount chief in my family and in my community. This is a man, call it magical or mythical, but this is a man who had outstanding attributes to him. Madam Speaker, this is a man whom, if you are going after him in a battle, he would turn to any animal and escape all the enemies that were coming for him. And Madam Speaker, what is more outstanding than that? My ear would not fail to go into this list. I have an example of a teacher who taught me, Madam Speaker. People think that you must do so much outrageous, outstanding deeds. Madam Speaker, Mother Teresa said that it is doing something outstanding in a simple way. One teacher that taught me geography in A levels sometimes back called Ongoro Guy. This is a man who would be a marking scheme for examiners. When teachers exams had been given, all regional exam of geography, and Ongoro Guy, the late, may his soul rest in peace, would sit and set the marking scheme off head. Madam Speaker, these are the kind of people that must be considered. You know, public officers sometimes just come to a county to work, and they might not have very deep history of the places. Madam Speaker, we have one famous or outstanding musician that came at a time when this country was ravaged by HIV. That is a lady who did not even go to school. She was called Alile Nyagena. That is a lady who came from Ndewa constituency. And she led a campaign through her songs, which was celebrated everywhere, that helped to really alleviate and was really ahead in public education against HIV in my community and the Luo community as a whole. That is not only limited to Luo, but it is in all the communities and in all the counties, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have outstanding people like the late Chief Otuoma Randiek of a clan called Kabuai. Those are people who would rightly get into the books that would be captured by this bill. Support this because it's going to help us to preserve and protect our cultures, which reflects on our identity of a people, and which we really must be very proud of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I support this bill, and as I take a step back, I would only like the mover to relook at the selection committee in terms of its constitution, the constitution of the selection committee, which must not only cover or majorly consist of public officers and must not be elitist, as I say, but Madam Speaker, this is something we should have done like yesterday. Madam Speaker, I support.
I now call upon the
kuregesha majibu ya mswada wangu huu wa kumbi ya umaarufu, na ni wazi ya kwamba ukumbi wa umaarufu ni wazo ambalo muda wake umefika. Niwashukuru maseneta wenzangu wote wakiongozwa na kiongozi wa wengi kwa kuchangia katika mswada huu na kunipa fursa, Bi Spika, ya kuweza kwenda kutia nyama yale mapendekezo ambayo niliyasoma jana hapa. Kwa hakika, Bi Spika, nimekuwa nafuatilia kwa makini changizo za maseneta wenzangu na nakubaliana nao ya kwamba tuupatilize udongo ungali maji, kwa sababu tutakapowaachia baadhi ya watu kidogo tu ambao tayari ni maafisa wa serikali kuweza kuwa katika ile kamati ya uteuzi, kutaenda kuwa na sintofahamu, na kama alivyochangia Seneta Biogola ya kwamba tunapowaachia tu wafanyikazi wa gatuzi ama gavana, kutakuwa na kule kupendeleana kisiasa, na pia kwamba sio wote wanaofanya kazi katika gatuzi zetu wako na ile historia ya pale mahali ambapo wanafanya kazi. Kwa hivyo nimelinukuu hilo na nitahakikisha kwamba nimelifanyia kazi. Bi Spika, pia niweze kumshukuru Seneta wa Nandi kwa changizo kichwa ya marehemu Koitalel Arap Samoei pale lilipo, na tutahakikisha wakati tunaweza kuupitisha mswada kama huu, tunakwenda kuchukua kama taifa mabaki yale ya shujaa wetu na yaweze kupatikana katika kumbi hiyo ambayo itakuwa maeneo ya Nandi. Pia niweze kushukuru changizo ya Seneta Okech ya kwamba ipo umuhimu na ipo haja ya kwamba tuiweze kuioanisha huu mswada na yale mengine mengi ambayo yanaenda kutambulisha taifa letu ili kuleta watalii katika nchi yetu. Bi Spika, kama tulivyoweza kuzungumza ya kwamba kando na kuwa tunaenda kuhifadhi ama kuwa mashujaa wetu katika kumbi hizi, pia tutaweza kuwatoa kulingana na vile ambavyo watajibeba baada ya kuwekwa na kusherekewa katika kumbi hizi. Hii ni kumaanisha ya kwamba wewe kuwekwa jina lako ama kuwekwa historia ya jamii yako, kwamba unapobadilisha mwenendo wako hautaweza kuondolewa. Pia niweze kudokeza wale ambao hawakuweza kuwa hapa ya kwamba kulikuwa na pendekezo kutoka kwa Seneta Ososi kutoka kule Vihiga ya kwamba tuweze pia kuwatambua kando na watu maarufu. Wapo watu ambao wamekuwa wakitupatia huduma katika gatuzi zetu, watu ambao wamefanya kazi zao kwa umahiri na ushujaa wa hali ya juu. Kwa mfano nitatoa pale Bondeni, shule ya wasichana ya Bondeni, tulikuwa tunauziwa ice cream na bwana mmoja akiitwa Mwa, na mpaka leo miaka 15-20 baada ya sisi kusoma, tunaona ya kwamba Bwana kama yule yuko. Kwa hivyo basi, ukumbi huu hautakuwa tu wa kuwasherehekea wasomi, madaktari, bali utawasherehekea pia wale wakulima wetu ambao wameweza kuendelea kulilisha taifa letu. Hivyo basi, niweze kukomea hapo, Bi Spika. Nambari 663 ya Seneti, niombe kuhairishwa kwa swali la hoja hii. Asante, Bi Spika.
Wish to defer order number 9 and move on to order number 10.
Order number 10. Move that the County Oversight and Accountability Bill be read a second time. This is a bill and the bill proceeded to the National Assembly, but because of time, the bill lapsed in the National Assembly. So I'll try to be very, very brief to be able to outline the main aim of this bill. This bill, Madam Speaker, it is a bill which aims to provide a national framework for senatorial oversight of county governments, particularly regarding the allocation, collection, use, and management of public finance at the county level. The bill seeks to establish a mechanism for effective oversight over county government operations to improve efficiency, economy, and accountability, in line with the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. This bill, Madam Speaker, mandates state officers in counties, engage public participation, and monitor compliance with constitutional provisions and national legislations on public finance. The bill enhances the Senate role in guarding national government funds allocated to counties and promote participatory democracy by involving the public in executive decision-making process. Madam Speaker, every year, county governments led by county governors publish county budgets. These budgets are normally defined by the interest of each governor's manifesto. And you'll find that in most cases, citizens, and this is because we do not have a piece of legislation that directs clear public participation. In the last parliament, Madam Speaker, the Senate attempted, and in fact, the former distinguished senator, who was the Attorney General Emeritus, Attorney Wako, is the one who was sponsoring that bill on public participation. That bill had also been sponsored by, I believe, the former senator of Baringo, she was Gideon Moy. But the bill on public participation did not see the light of day. And that is why we're having a lot of problems. Now, when you find that county governors develop budgets, most of these budgets, when they're developed, citizens do not know what is entailed in these budgets. Narok County, Madam Speaker, has got 30 wards. We had a big debate on what the MCAs were calling ward development funds. Citizens did not understand what these ward development funds were all about. In fact, in most cases, people equated them with the CDF fund, where I'm proposing, participate in the budget-making process. For them to be able to, the good senator of Elgeyo Marakwet and myself, Senator Kisang, who is an IT specialist, saw it fit to reintroduce this bill again in this parliament and ensure that we propose governors, CCM Finance can be able to go and call people to come in and listen to the manifesto or to the finance bill or to the budget of these governors. Carry out public participation so that citizens do not go out and say, we don't know what is happening. These halls will also assist senators be able to meet with their constituents. In fact, I dare say, Madam Speaker, that this bill is the one that defines the clear oversight role of the. When I was thinking about this bill, I looked at Article 96 of the Constitution of Kenya. What does Article 96 say? Why is it important for us as a Senate to be able to oversight the county funds that we send? Why is it important, Madam Speaker, for the citizens also to play a role in oversight the counties? And the answer is very simple. It is important so that all of us can be able to develop. Madam Speaker, devolution is something which is very dear to me. This bill strengthens devolution because there will be no single ward or no single citizens who will be able to come and say that my ward was allocated X amount of money, but it was not implemented, because they will be part and parcel of the process of implementing everything that has been budgeted for. One of my biggest pet peeves, Madam Speaker, is called supplementary budgets. Every year, the national government, the county government, they carry out several supplementary budgets. And why do they do that? Because the citizens do not understand the power that the Constitution has given them to be able to oversight their county governments. So, Madam Speaker, one of the biggest benefits that this bill will be able to bring to devolution is that it will strengthen not only the oversight bodies, but it will also strengthen devolution. Madam Speaker, we all talk about transparency and accountability of the funds that we send to counties. We spent hours and hours, Madam Speaker, agonizing on the revenue formula, talking about the division of revenue, and fighting with the national government so that we can send more money to our counties. Today, Madam Speaker, there's a huge debate on the GEP, is it the e-procurement system, which is being proposed by the national government. A bid encroaching into the territory of the county governments, which are semi-autonomous, as per Article 176 of the Constitution, Article 179, and I believe Article 6 of the Constitution, which sets up county governments as semi-autonomous from national government. This bill, Madam Speaker, will also put up a clear framework on which governors can be able to use, even when it comes to procurement, because the citizens will be part and parcel of the whole process. Madam Speaker, in summary, because I can see time is running and I'd like to invite my colleague to be able to second this bill. The main purpose of this bill is to reinforce the Senate oversight powers over county governments, support effective devolution by enhancing financial accountability and promoting participatory governance that benefit both county administration and the nation as a whole through improved service delivery and public trust. Today, there's no transparency in budget-making process in the counties. Zero transparency, Madam Speaker, I dare say. With this bill, when this bill becomes law, each and every of the 47 counties will be now required to set up public participation halls. Madam Speaker, we have a lot of cases in our courts today where people go and argue that there was no public participation. There'll be no room for that anymore because there'll be a hall similar to this. When I grew up, Madam Speaker, I lived in the States. And my town of Concord, Massachusetts, whenever there was a matter that needed to be discussed by the mayor of that town, it would be brought to the town hall. People will go there, they will vote on it, they will discuss, and then the policymakers will now be given an opportunity to go and then, put it in the language that the policymakers understand. In the 21st century, in Kenya today, this being the third Senate, and where we are all just arguing about the role of the Senate, I think this bill will clarify all that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to move and request the good Senator of Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator Kisang, to second.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second this very important bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that this is the third Senate since the new Constitution was enacted, And secondly, Madam Speaker, this is the 13th cycle of budget, 2012, 2013, all the way to 2025, 26, Madam Speaker. And it is good to know that generally most of our constituents in the counties, Madam Speaker, do not know about the budget cycle. That is why Senator Leteme in the last parliament saw it fit that it is important that we ensure our people know and they're involved in the budget process at the county level, Madam Speaker. And then how do you involve the people? You need some facility where the people know this is the place that we can meet with the counties. This is the place we can meet even with the senators when we have our engagements with them, Madam Speaker, on oversight. That is why the first important thing to do, Madam Speaker, is to set up facilities in each of our wards so that, Madam Speaker, when these engagements are there, Madam Speaker, we will be able to meet the people, Madam Speaker. I know National Assembly, they have also public participation, Madam Speaker, in the counties. They do some target some pilot counties, move around, and they meet at the county headquarters. For 7 county, 1,200 and something wards, Madam Speaker. If the governor of Elgeyo Marakwet County wants to meet the people and the CEC for Finance wants to tell the people what needs to be done, where will they meet the people, Madam Speaker? That's why we have said we need to set resources aside, and each of our wards we put up a hall, Madam Speaker, so that at the beginning of each financial year, Madam Speaker, you move around, you advertise. This is where you are going to meet the populace of the wards. Let them keep proposals. I know the executive will give a proposal that this is what we want to do for you, but also the people needs to agree. Because for the last 12 years, Madam Speaker, I want to speak about my county. We have what we call Equitable Development Act. And this particular act, Madam Speaker, has done great things for the people. But at the same time, Madam Speaker, there are many things that we have missed because we have done small projects. If we involve the people and tell the people, we guide that in this particular ward, Madam Speaker, we want to put up a facility like an health center worth, say, 30 or 40 million, Madam Speaker. You engage the people and discuss with the people. I believe they will agree with the executive. But where do you meet the people? You need somewhere where it is gazetted, Madam Speaker, as a facility. Madam Speaker, if you go to part 2 of this particular bill, Madam Speaker, you will see, Madam Speaker, the oversight and public participation programs for this particular bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know in the past we have not been involved, especially in the budget making process at the county level. But we are saying as senators, we need to be involved with the revenues that are sent by the national government using the shareable formula, Madam Speaker. We also have our own source of revenue, Madam Speaker, that are collected at the county level. But you see, during the budget making process, we have not been able to oversight because we don't know when they are doing it. They are never advertised, Madam Speaker. But I'm happy, Madam Speaker, to know that even the little resources that we got recently, and we still get by the Senate has already picked some very important part of this bill, Madam Speaker, where the senators have been able to even appoint and employ 3 people from the counties to assist in oversighting, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you go to section clause 18 of the bill, where the Senate shall not employ a person under the subsection 3 unless that person, these are the qualifications of the people that will assist the senators to do oversight, Madam Speaker, and the qualifications are very clear. You need a graduate, you need somebody who has at least some knowledge in economics so that the senators can be assisted to do proper oversight, Madam Speaker. And what is also very important, you go to section 19, Madam Speaker, clause 19. Our people don't even know how to access information. But this bill, Madam Speaker, is clearly spelling if a citizen wants to get access of information from the county governments. This bill is very clear. The county executive committee member and the clerk of the respective county assembly shall give and maintain the information relevant to the allocation of monies, collection of revenue, and such other information in the facilities of the respective county, and shall upon request avail the information to a member of the public. You go to that particular social hall, raise your issue. I believe there'll be boxes for comments and boxes for seeking of information, so that, Madam Speaker, these people, our constituents within the counties, get proper information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is an overdue bill. I know it lapsed in the last parliament. That's why we are asking members in this particular session, Madam Speaker, that we speed it up, so that, there is that tendency of individual member bills being discussed, and then after a while, when they go to National Assembly, they lapse. So I believe Senator Latema and myself now, we need also to lobby our colleagues in National Assembly, and then we look for people who can co-sponsor, so that we get co-sponsors, Senator Latema, in National Assembly, so that they can champion and also discuss with the House Business Committee of Senate and the House Business Committee of National Assembly to fast track. They are very important bills that will benefit our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 3 of 2024, be now read a second time. Senator Sifuna.
Madam Speaker, in the few remaining minutes, I wanted to make my contribution to the bill by Senator Ledamo Olekina. First of all, Honorable Speaker, my expectation of the bill would be to address the question of how we exercise oversight and accountability. Our oversight mandate is drawn from Article 96, Sub-Article 3, that talks about oversight of this House over the national resources that are sent to county governments. In fact, my expectation, Senator Ledama, was that given recent judicial pronouncements, we would use the opportunity that this bill presents to expand and capture what the courts have said about the mandate of this Senate, that it extends not only to the national revenue that has been sent to the counties under the equitable share, but that it also extends to the own source revenue of county governments. And indeed, we at the Public Accounts Committee, that is chaired very ably by the Senator from Homa Bay, are discussing about the lack of visibility to the Senate of money that goes to our county governments through grants and donor funding. Then when it comes to accountability, Honorable Speaker, under Article 174A, it talks about accountable exercise of power, and I was hoping that we would use this opportunity the bill has presented to be able to enhance accountability at the lowest levels of government. Speaker, we are in Busia, and just yesterday we walked out with, I think it was Senator Wambua, and there were young men who were standing out there. They told us that, in fact, we have not provided sufficient facility for the public to access this. The powers that be around the Busia County Assembly, who know them and what they stand for, would not allow them to access this chamber. Now, Funa, do you know that Cabro has been put yesterday because you guys were coming here? And that is what the bill that Senator Ledama is proposing is supposed to take care of. That public participation in the development of the country and the identification of priority projects should have been done, and the people should have been involved. The people of Busia think that some of the things that are happening in this town are only happening because the Senate is coming here. Because we are not residents of Busia, we are not permanent residents of Busia. We would want that things be done for them and in their name, because it is the resources of the people of Busia that are being utilized here. Honorable Speaker, the discussion around public participation, especially in allocation of resources in the county, has had me thinking about what really is the problem with public participation in this country. what are the real issues that surround public participation in this country. And if you look at the litigation that we have had so far, the problems that have been identified for why public participation is not effective is, number one, of course, the low levels of civic engagement by the public. People have their own hustles, they have their own jobs to go to. Sometimes they don't have opportunity to find or time to have these conversations. Number two, there is interference by the local politicians. Honorable Speaker, in fact, it has been alleged that when we as a House or even the County Assembly undertakes public participation, we drive the process in such a way that the people who are in that room most likely would want to agree with the people who facilitated them to attend those public participation forums. We have seen even in the impeachment of governors, where the requirement of public participation has been grossly abused. I remember one county, Honorable Speaker, when we were going through the forms there for public participation, and we could see that there were predetermined outcomes that the MCAs were pushing, and even signatures were being forced or forged, Honorable Speaker, to push certain ends. So for me, I am hoping, Senator Ledama, that in the process of enriching this bill, we can actually ask ourselves, what is the biggest problem with public participation? I was asking Senator from Homa Bay here, whether a public participation that happens under a tree is not effective public participation. Whether really the front loading of the venues of the conversation is the best solution or the solution to the actual problem when it comes to the question of public participation. And for me, we would want to tie this thing, the loose ends, by even ring fencing the process from political.
Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until 9th October 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Senator Sifuna will have a balance of 15 minutes to contribute to this bill.